Hey, remember when you were a kid and your parents told you that if you kept the tooth you lost under your pillow, a tooth fairy will come at night and replace it with money? And you actually believed them. Or when you burst into tears after swallowing a watermelon seed because you were told that if you swallowed it, a full one would grow in your belly. You see, as kids, our understanding of the world was very limited. And so we had to rely on what our parents told us and their judgment of what they felt was right or not. And if they told you something was true, then it was true. But as we grow older and hopefully wiser, we start to develop the capacity to think for ourselves and determine what we really like, what we really want to believe in, and ultimately the path we want to take for our future. Even so, those who raised us would have had a significant influence on our early perceptions of this world. And more times than we might be willing to admit, it could be hard to draw the lines between the ideologies that you have because that is what your parents believe in, and those that you have because that is what you actually believe in. I want to cut yourself saying something or acting in a certain way and just think to yourself, oh wow, I'm slowly turning to my mom. And so in the little things like how you cook your favorite dish or how you walk, and in the big things like the way you reason or the language you use, you start to find yourself becoming a subtle reflection of your parents. A very core part of my identity is my faith. My parents are Christian and I am a Christian, but I'm not a Christian simply because they are, even though they would have played a significant part in that happening. But ultimately, it's a decision I made when I chose to believe in Jesus as my Savior and my Lord. But there are some other mindsets that my parents have that I may not necessarily agree with. Transitioning from taking every word of your parents as the truth to realizing that even they are still learning and growing and so may not always be right is such a dicey thing to do. Besides, who even says that you and your parents always have to agree on every single thing? I was discussing with my friend the other day and I was like, even our parents don't always agree with every single thing that they do. So how much more us? But how do we draw the line between simply disagreeing with what they feel is right and despising the wisdom of those who have gone ahead of us? And just to set things right, I'm not trying to encourage rebellion with your parents or anything of that sort. In fact, I've realized that when parents want to force their ideals on us or when they want us to take some specific action, it's mostly because they feel like that is the best course of action for us to take. Say for instance, they want you to go in a specific career path, but you want to do something else instead. When they are opposing your desired career path, it's not because they just want to stop you from doing what you want to do, but because they genuinely feel like what they want you to do is going to be more lucrative or more profitable for you in the future. And I feel like that's a perspective to have when having discussions with them about things like this, because it just makes you realize that they are not trying to stop you from achieving your dreams or fulfilling your goals. They just want what's best for you. But I feel like there will be some times where you will have to actually just stand your ground and let them know that, look, I know you have my best interests at heart, but I know that this is what I want to do. And such discussions or such situations may not be the easiest to maneuver. But as I said earlier, when you have the understanding that you both are working towards a common goal, which is to see you succeed, I think it makes it easier to eventually reach a common ground. With the advent of social media, the world has never been desaturated. From Instagram to TikTok to Snapchat to Twitter or X and even YouTube, there has never been this many channels to experience the lives of others through a screen. And you know one thing about us humans, we are products of influence. How many times have you caught yourself saying a phrase that your friend can't keep up their mouth? Or starting to listen to a certain genre of music that your roommate is always playing out loud? Now think about that on a larger scale. Every day through social media, we are being exposed to the lives of thousands, even millions of people all over the world, some of whom we may never meet till the day we die. And the same way you copy mannerisms from your friends is the same way you copy mannerisms from your favorite YouTube vlogger or Instagram influencer. I still find it amusing how trending slangs don't take long to get adopted into everyone's vocabulary. A word or slang starts trending and suddenly everyone can speak 3 sentences without using it. But that just goes to show the power of influence. And much more than slangs, it's so easy to adopt others' thinking patterns. And in this hypersensitive world, you might be pressured to agree on certain matters that you don't necessarily agree with simply because you don't want to be cancelled.
They say happy is a state of mind, like a front porch swing, pretty thing.
Sometimes I see some viral videos on YouTube or Instagram and I check the comments and practically everyone is saying the same thing, sometimes even using the same words or phrases. Sometimes it even feels like people always wait to see what others are saying before they drop their own take. You would even see people who are saying something today and a week later they are saying something entirely different because that is what everyone is now saying. I stumbled across this YouTube video some days ago which talked about something called a mimetic desire, which is basically when you adopt the desires of others as your own, most times without even realizing it. So everyone around you is talking about this certain gadget or phone or accessory or clothing, and you think you want it because everyone else does. And the funny thing is, this doesn't apply to desires alone, but even mindsets as well. If you sit down to think about it, you may realize that you have certain biases or stereotypes about certain people or certain things simply because of what you read someone say about it on social media. So when I find myself starting to have certain beliefs or desires, I've been a lot more intentional in asking myself questions. Questions like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I think I want this thing? Is this desire that I have for this thing or this mindset that I have towards something really because that is what I really think, or simply because that is what I have seen other people around me say? And because of all of this, it's never been this hard to have a mind of your own. You don't even realize how many people are subconsciously influencing you. Do you really think the way you think because that's what you really think, or just because that's what those you follow think? So the thing is, we would always remain products of influence. That can't change. Humans would always be influenced by other humans. So being influenced in itself isn't inherently bad. But the real question is, who or what am I allowing to influence me? I'm learning to be more intentional in who I let to shape my worldview, the ideas I accept, the thought patterns I agree with, the language I use. Because when it's all said and done, that will determine the life I live. So we have come to the end of the learning series, and I just want to say a very big thank you to everyone who has been with me right from the very first video. Thank you for the comments, the shares, the likes, for subscribing. We hit 1,000 subscribers during the period of this series, and when I see your comments about how the topics were so timely for you, it makes me so glad, because that was really the goal, to share these experiences and life lessons in hope that they would bring clarity to you in certain aspects of your life. I dare say that putting out these videos has been one of the most tasking things I have ever done in my entire life, and I'm not even kidding. But knowing that it has helped 1 or 2 or 50 people out there is such a rewarding feeling. And one way you can give back to me is by liking these videos and sharing them with people that you think need to watch them. Until we see again.
That beautiful smile. I can't lie, I'm sad to see you go, but I just want you to know how much you mean to me, how much I still need you. I can't lie, my heart is broken, won't leave these things unspoken. I know you'll have to leave, I just can't believe that this is it, isn't it? This is it. This is it, isn't it? This is it. I know that we may be further, but we will still be together for every milestone in our lives. You're all grown up, moving along. You're found exactly where you belong, and I know that we'll still have